Welcome to Real Talk with Hagir, where we talk to you from the heart about issues that matters, about our experience and just being us, right? Today I have an amazing guest that I am sure you will learn a thing or two from him and you will enjoy his company as well as I did. Tom, welcome.
Thank you so much, Hagir.
Tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Tom Dardick, and probably the thing I'd like to maybe start off with is the thing I'm most excited about, which is our new company called Mentor Machine. And so Mentor Machine is basically a protocol that's based on some technology that we've developed and IP that we've developed over the years. And we call ourselves a Mentor Machine, but really we're not the Mentor Machine. The people we help, the organizations that we help become the Mentor Machine. So what we do is we install systems and protocols that will allow people to certify mentors, who then in turn are able to certify mentors in a way that becomes evergreen. Why would anybody want to do something like that? Well, what we found is that people really feel kind of lost in the world. Yeah. Right now, according to the famous Gallup engagement survey, only really 1 in 5 people are actually engaged in their job worldwide. And so the other thing is people feel lost and unfulfilled, and feeling fulfillment is something that we can't do by ourselves. We need other people. So I think the path towards greater fulfillment is through organizations. And the path to fulfillment also is a growth path, and mentoring is what we call mentoring is growth through relationship. Mm-hmm. So we use the word mentor very commonly, right? Mm-hmm. People will say, well, he showed me he was mentoring me, or she was teaching me, so she was mentoring me. And we mean something very specific by it.
Okay, which is, explain it.
So what we mean by mentoring is, first of all, it's growth through relationship, and there's a skill to it. And you really need to check 3 boxes. You need to be able to be on the other person's side in a way that is measured by their values, not yours. That's one difficult thing. We tend to just take what's in our brain, put it in there, and say, if I was them, this is what I would do.
I will do this.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's not the pinnacle of mentoring. The other thing is that for somebody to be inspired by us, we have to have done something. We have to stand for something. We have to have accomplished something. People have to see us in a way that says, I want some of that special sauce that she's got. And so that's box number 2. Box number 3 is you have to have enough understanding of the human condition to help somebody when they have that inevitable point in their growth journey where they're stuck. You have enough understanding to help them get off that, I call it the sandbar, and keep moving. Amazing. So those 3 things.
That's amazing. And how do you approach this? Like how people get in touch with you, for example, and is it like a course? Is it like explain if
the protocol itself?
Yeah, like what you provide.
Okay,
service.
so our the way that we help is we start with what we call a fulfillment index survey.
Okay.
So people often measure engagement. Engagement is the hot word.
Yeah.
How engaged are your people?
Yeah.
The metrics are clear. More engagement means better everything else, right? But we found that engagement is actually not the leading factor. It's actually a following factor.
Okay.
Fulfillment is the more important thing, but it's a little harder to get a handle on.
Yeah.
So people maybe even don't know how fulfilled or unfulfilled they are if you ask them straight out. So we've developed an index to sort of get a handle on where is this organization helping people feel more fulfilled and where are they compromising that feeling. Because no one tries to throw water on the fire. People aren't trying to cause harm or be toxic, generally speaking.
Yeah.
They do so because they don't know any better. So we identify what are the ways that we are doing that. Once we know that, then we'll pick out cohorts, and we move in cohorts and in teams, and we have a protocol. It's based on a model that I've developed. It's a whole other long thing called the Eye of Power.
Okay.
And so we team up, we call them growth partners, towards becoming certified mentors.
Okay.
So you both function as a growth partner and you also have a growth partner. So we work in these ways. And it's not so much teaching, there's a little bit of teaching, but really what we're doing is we're prompting people to take actions they otherwise wouldn't take. Moving in psychologically healthy directions, ways that helps them become a more fulfilled version of themselves, more fully expressed version of themselves. Get out of their own way. Most of us are in our own way.
Yes, yes.
So we help them. We hold the mirror up, and so this is a protocol that they do over time.
So I'm assuming didn't just come out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
There's a background, right? So we want to know who's Tom.
Okay.
In a personal level.
Sure.
And what got you, I'm sure this came because of something that you believe in or experienced.
Well, I've been full-time in the people strategy space really since 2002. I had a company with a partner called the Communication Gym where we focused on communication skills. And we would break down complex communication skills into the component parts, drill for skill. It was based on a martial arts model. So we'd have a belt system and you'd move through it. It's really quite clever, I think. I liked it. But one of the things that bothered me through the years that we were doing that is we would have people sign up, they'd have great results, and then we might not see them anymore. And that happened all the time. And it was like we were like any other gym. How many people pay their membership to a gym and then actually come into the gym?
Not me.
It's a Pareto's law. It's about 1 out of 5 is who will show up in a month that of all the people that are paying that. Well, we had this exact same thing. And I'm like, why is this happening this way? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so I kind of fell a little bit out of love with the how to do things and more in love with why. So I started my own consulting practice to help people connect to purpose back in 2011.
Okay.
And then through that journey, I had some other partnerships, some things that I was helping people with, developed over time what's now the Eye of Power model.
Okay.
And the Eye of Power is multi-tool. It's a map. It's a compass. It's a guide. It's a way to sort of see those things that would otherwise remain hidden. So I always ask people, you ever make a New Year's resolution and then not keep it? How many people can relate to that?
You better say yes, because I know all of you.
92% of the people will say
Yes.
yes. So it's a common thing. And then the question is why? Why can't we just decide to do something that we know that...
Maybe the resolution is making a New Year resolution every year and not doing it.
Yeah, well, but we all know there's something positive change that we'd like to make, and then it's difficult to make. And the question is why? Why can't we? And best I can tell, Hagir, is we don't really see the full dimension of ourselves. What we see is sort of the iceberg part sticking up out of the water, and we don't really see a lot of ourselves that remain hidden underneath. And the problems that we have is when we decide to do something, it's at the cost always of something else we could have done. So it's always sacrifice. And if we're not cognizant of the things that, and then they're not lined up underneath, then I think I want this, but there's parts of me that really don't and will fight against it. Plus, we also, the way our brains work is we are very much patterns. We're very much in kind of, you get into a groove and it takes energy to get out of that groove. So just take something. So when we feel like we don't have the energy to do something new, we give away our power.
I don't have energy to do something old, not the new. Like exercising, for example, is always an issue. But that's very interesting, and I'm sure many people out there will relate to this. And we don't have the answer. We do want to have the answer, but linking this to why did you start this? Like, is this something happened to you? Is it? I'm sure it's a life experience and journey, and but a person will not wake up and decide just to okay, I'm going to start something. It's normally something led to that
Well,
area.
there's a number of things, and we don't have all day for this, so I'll
Yes.
give you the very, very cursory version. But I've been a student of the human condition since my memory begins. Because, I mean, when I was...
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll give you an example. So when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I was reading all of the Greek and Norse myths and mythologies, and those stories just really caught my
That's
attention.
why I like you.
and I couldn't, when I was that age, I couldn't tell you why
Yeah.
these things were so important.
Interesting.
But they caught me, and I've always been the kind of person that says, why can't it be better than this? Why do we have to just accept this level of pain, this
Yeah.
level of frustration, this level of whatever it is that you would rather it not be? And so that thread never left. I've been in the study of philosophy and psychology pretty much my whole life. Professionally, I dove in. And I've also been a serial entrepreneur. My family had a business, so I expected to be in some sort of business.
Yeah.
I didn't really ever think I was going to go work for a corporation or somebody else. So I kind of had the paradigm of I'm going to make my way. So between those things, I think that's probably it. Another thing that is maybe a little bit of a different note here is what really shaped my professional career was actually my interest in music. So I went to Tufts University and started in engineering, didn't like engineering, so I switched to economics. Didn't really like that much, but got a college degree. And but I wanted to start a recording studio with my brother, who was going to University of Maryland at the time. So we moved down to Columbia, Maryland, and we were going to start this recording studio. And wow, we found out that nobody was going to have a couple of inexperienced kids, a couple $1 million to start a recording studio. So the closest thing I could get is a job selling that kind of equipment. So I did that, and that sort of shaped my career from there, where I was doing business with churches in the DC area. I was doing business with large corporations, doing corporate boardrooms. I was doing business with government agencies, learned how government contracting worked, things like this. This was all in the late 80s. And then, long story, but kind of went from there. Cut to 1999, my brother and I had a business that was in this basic field, and we ended up losing this business. And it was very, very traumatic.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I didn't know how traumatic it was. It was a terrible experience. You're in this kind of negative loop where you know the right thing to do, but your hands are tied. You don't have the resources to do it. So you have to make a compromise, which ends up causing more things. So I say all that because that really tethered me to the stakes in organizations and what's really at play when leaders are making either good calls or bad calls.
Yeah.
And so that from that time on, I've been focused there. So yeah.
This is we need more than this half an hour for
I know,
your life,
we barely
because
got into anything yet.
I know, this is not going to be the end, of course. We're going to have you again and again. But you said something very important, and I think this is what everyone out there needs to hear. You said it casually, but a lot of people will stay in that spot forever, and it will hinder how they look at the world and how they look at themselves. When we fail, and I say this a lot, it doesn't mean the end. Like, you can reinvent yourself. You can get up and shake that dirt, and as long as you're awake and alive, you can do it, right? And you're a great example of that. And also following your heart and your dream. Like how I'm sure a lot of people like me and you who had a degree, engineering, and did not like it, you changed. Or you're at the spot where you don't feel like you can do that. So for someone like this with your experience and expertise, what would you say to someone who's doubting themselves or letting failure like basically hit them hard?
The I of Power model is a quadrant model. It's based on what can we do? It's based on the power grid, what I call the power grid, which is, what can we really do in this world? Well, we can sort of control our thoughts, sort of, and we can sort of control our actions, sort of. I gave you the example of the New Year's resolution. We can't completely. And our actions influence our thoughts influence our actions. So one of the axes in the model is the attitude-action axis. Whatever we're thinking or doing is going to be directed one of two ways. It's going to be directed about ourselves or outward towards other people. So that's the horizontal axis. So this is the basis of what the model's built on. What I noticed is, so you put these two things together, you get 4 quadrants. And I noticed there's different dynamics that emerge in these quadrants. I'm saying this because the quadrant that is actions on our own behalf is what I call the pain quadrant. And the pain quadrant, when I was first building the model, people say, you don't want to call it the pain quadrant. Pain's got a negative connotation. And that is what I'll say the problem is. Because if you think about it, pain, if we didn't have pain, if pain didn't exist, do you think the world would be better? The answer is actually no. Pain is an ally. Because what is pain? Pain is a feedback mechanism that says, pay attention and do something. Right? And if we ignore the pain, it doesn't typically, sometimes it can go away if it's not really a big issue. But if it's a real an issue, it doesn't just go away, it intensifies.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if we want something, we're stuck.
Yeah.
We are valuing the pain of whatever we're imagining that change. The pain of that change, we're saying that's too high a price to pay for whatever the thing on the other side that we value. And we haven't made that. So what I'm pointing to here is that most of us could really have a more mature attitude towards pain.
Yeah.
And so that's something that when you feel stuck, it's because of some, and I say pain very generically. Yeah. One of the big pains is fear.
Anxiety, fear.
Fear is the thing that really kind of keeps us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in simple words for everyone out there, you are the one that hindering your own success. That could be part of it, right? Thinking or getting stuck in your fear or the things that, the fear of the unknown. Basically, I'm not trying new things, right? Or fearing of failure. And what I noticed that the reaction of the society and the community to your failure or the bullying or the negative that you hear and stuck in your head is a huge factor. Did you feel that or think it's a factor? Or?
My natural disposition is sort of more on the rosier side. I tend to be optimistic, and really what we're doing at the Mentor Machine, what I've been doing, didn't even know I was doing it, is really it's applied positive psychology. Positive psychology is the newer field of psychology that's emerged over the past 25 years that is not necessarily addressing the things that are wrong. It's really addressing how do we make things go from where we are to something we prefer, something better, quote unquote. Yeah. And so there's a whole science to that. And applying the things that help us move in that direction is really what we're talking about here. So things like when we say we're afraid of failing or something like that. What's that about? Well, it's about more than just it's like an onion.
What is it about? Tell us.
It's an onion. You peel it apart, right? Ultimately, where it goes down to most times. Now, this is not 100%, but let's just say 95%. It's going to go to ego. It's going to go down to that part of it. And now, ego is another word that is kind of a charged word. We need our ego. Ego's not a bad thing. It's there for a reason. But it's a part of us. It's like our hand. You know, you don't curse your hand. Like you get a hangnail or something, it hurts. You still want your hand. You deal with it. Ego really needs to work well. It really needs to be sure about things. It needs to be certain. So anything that feels uncertain is an immediate threat to that part of us, that ego part of us. And the ego says, no, I don't want that. And that's one of the big ways that we keep ourselves, because we have this picture. So we say I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of my ego picture not being the thing that I want it to be in the eyes of other people.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But when we talk about the fear or everything that you developed with your model or with your life, how can we apply that to real life, like now, with the amount of hate, with the amount of violence, with how the world is going? You know, it's okay for us to think about ourselves, but how can we make people see that the world is way bigger?
I was doing a course recently, and it's very responsive to this question, Hagir. Imagine you are walking along and you find a lamp, and you pick up the lamp and you rub it, and a genie pops out. And the genie gives you two choices. You can wear the red cape, and you'll get a superpower. And that superpower will help you fight against the things that are wrong in the world. Or you can wear the green cape. And the green cape will give you the power to fight for the things that you think the world needs more of. Which cape are you going to choose? You can only choose one.
You want me to answer
Yeah,
that?
go ahead. We'll do it. Because
This is really hard.
And think about that, for those listeners, think about which cape do you choose? Red or green?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. Like, you want to get rid of the things that hinder people's success and happiness and what they need, and also you want to give them more of. I think this is a trick question. Do you want me to? But
No,
I
think you're
will
right.
choose. I think I will. This is hard, guys. Comment. Tell us what you think. I will choose the green cape to give people more of the good things.
Okay. Now, if you choose the green cape, can you flourish without ever fighting against things? In other words, the red cape. Can you flourish just wearing the green cape?
No.
So sometimes you need the red cape. And that's what the course claimed too. I'm not 100% sure on this. I think that's basically true, but I also, when I was answering in the course, I kind of saw a path where you might not have to say you're fighting against. You can still fight against without fighting against. So I was seeing a path where you could possibly get only wearing the green cape, possibly. But in general, you do have to sometimes stand up because you're going to get pushback. There's things you're going to have to get past. So, so really what you said is right. We need the reversible cape. But here's the thing. Problems will be obvious. Problems scream.
Yes.
Opportunities whisper. So if we're looking for problems and fighting, if we've got our armor on, we're out trying to battle all the injustice, we're generally speaking, if we wear the red cape too much, we're probably not going to hear the whispers, is the cost. So that's why in positive psychology, you really do want to work on moving in a more optimistic direction and seeing the things that are right more than you're seeing the things that are wrong. It's not that you're Pollyanna and that you're trying to pretend that reality isn't what it is, because we're the authors of our story.
Yeah.
Well, you get to decide what things mean to you. And so that story is a narrative that has a lot of leeway. So we can tell stories as comedies, we can tell them as tragedies, we can tell them as heroic triumphs or epic failures. We get to be the chooser of these things. And it's all in the framework. It's all in what we're saying matters most. And we have a lot of leeway.
We're both optimistic, and just like you grew up seeing the glass half full. And part of the things that I spoke about in my memoir, that you're the one that writes your book, and you're the one who can decide how it ends. I do truly believe that, and I just like you, I believe that everyone is good at their soul. Some people did not get the opportunity to, know or learn, or they don't know better for many reasons. Ignorant is one of them, but
there are some broken souls.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
There is. If we take those out, like sociopaths and people who take pleasure in injuring and hurting people, then everybody else is teachable, and that's why we never give up raising awareness, educating, talking to people, and trying to find the common.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can relate to, I'm sure you probably have a lot of people that you sit down and talk to and say, we have more in common than what we have in difference.
Way, way more.
Okay, talk to us about that quick in like a minute.
Okay, sure. So one of the questions that I'll ask people is, what do you value? What matters most to you? What's the most important things? And what will people say? Well, if people ask me, I kind of go to, I thought about this a long time. I came up with this probably 30 years ago. What I think the most important things are what I call the 3 C's: consciousness, creation, and connection. So I think if you're doing 1, 2, or 3 of those things in a way that you can see differences and feel differences, I think you're on a path. So consciousness, creation. So what's consciousness? It's expanding. It's not just learning. It's true deep understanding. What's creation? It's expressing yourself in a way that no one else can but you. What's connection? It's meaningful, really seeing people for who they really are. So some combination of those things.
Okay. With that, I know we don't have a lot of time
Okay.
for the first half an hour, but we will talk to you about like lightning. We have something we call the lightning round.
Okay.
The lightning round is normally answering quick, but I want you to go as deep as you want.
Okay.
Being who you are as someone who maybe face struggles in your life that we don't know about, and has success, failed at some business, then got back right up and did what
It took a
you're
little
doing
while.
right now. It took a while. So as a man, and I'm directing this to you as a man, and a white man also, do you feel women have it a little bit harder than men in general, and especially minorities?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. How?
Well, this was really clear to me when I had
The women out there are going to love you, by the way. Look at them and tell them why.
Well, this was really clear to me when we had the communication gym, and we had a woman on our staff, and she would conduct the sessions, and like I would conduct the session, same session,
Yeah.
same curriculum, same everything. The reactions that she would get versus what I would get would be very, very different. And so I didn't really understand that. And then women get, you get negative reactions to strengths.
Yes.
Men don't really get negative reactions to their strengths. If I'm decisive, if I'm bold, if I'm opinionated, if I'm quick, if I'm even good looking, no pushback. That's all accepted.
Assertive, they say.
Same thing for a woman. They might appreciate on a level, but there's a level that doesn't want that. And that's a totally different thing. So I think it's not a little, I think it's a big difference.
Yes, it is. It hinders a lot. Being taken serious is also another issue, especially when it comes to business.
Yeah.
And you are a good-looking man.
Oh, thank
Have
you.
that became an issue? Have you ever felt uncomfortable, or you felt like maybe they pick me because I'm good-looking?
No, never. I never really thought of myself as particularly good looking.
I mean, you are, but
I don't think I'm bad looking, but I think there's people that are just way, way better looking than I am that can use their looks. So I've never really thought that I had looks to use. I'm more interested in souls.
Okay.
So I'm more interested in...
The only reason I'm asking, because, for example, a lot of, and because you have a background in psychology, so we're using this to learn a little bit about psychology, or show people who might not understand that a lot of women go into that self-doubt, or basically the imposter syndrome, right? You know, when you succeed and if you're a good looking one, people will say automatically, oh, you slept your way to the top, or life is so easy for her because she went through. So those are the things that, you know, we don't ask in a show for a lot of people, but this is your background, and that's something I think from our last conversation. I think you are open-minded to help people out there to understand, right? So another thing, you know, that's women, for example, versus men. So this is like a game of men versus women.
Okay.
Let's do that. I don't represent all women, and you don't represent all men, but you know, going through life also, how many like scenarios that you felt unsafe just walking in a dark alley?
I've had a few of those. I had some experience. I've been held at gunpoint. I've almost been jumped by a young gang. I've experienced some of that.
Okay.
But in general, I know there's a huge difference.
Yes.
There's a huge difference. I'm over 6 feet tall. I don't. If I kind of puff myself up, and I mean, it doesn't make you completely safe. No one is.
Yes.
But I probably am not the easiest target. Versus, you know, a 5'4" woman.
It's not something that it would
physically
hinder your
way
success.
easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I maybe I'm not answering the question. I'm not
Oh no, you are. This is amazing. All right. So now we go into the just one answer. Who inspired you the most?
Oh boy. Besides
your mom and dad, you know. I know you're going to say that.
Well, as I was talking about myself, I had these different phases, right? My grandfathers were both inventors. And I might not have in the past say they are my inspiration, but in looking back over these years, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for my dad's grandfather, David Dardick, who invented the open chamber system and had this very kind of glamorous life of both triumph and tragedy, roller coaster life, and just wild experiences, tons of stories. That is a larger than life sort of thing that I always thought that would be sort of something that'd be like for me. My mom's father was an inventor too, but his inventions were all in one company. He worked for Columbia Paper and Ink, and he had 190 or I forget how many patents. But he did like inks and papers throughout. This would have been through the 30s, 40s, 50s that he's coming up with this stuff. So this is like mimeographs, Xerox type stuff, that kind of thing. It's all out of date now, of course, but you know, some nice contributions, and he lived a very good life, but very different. But I guess when I answered the earlier question, Hagir, about the creation piece, I think that maybe is why, is because I come from sort of a family of inventing.
Yeah. Genetic.
I think so.
Genetic.
And I wrote a novel with my brother Chris, and we've got another one, that's sequel coming. And so I feel like, and we were talking earlier, I'm in a band. You know, to me, creation is part of life. And it's your business, each person's business, to find out what is your creative venue.
Oh my goodness. That's why I love this man. Because a lot of people think, okay, like we record a lot of videos on our social media talking about people want you to have a niche, to have something, one thing that you're good at. And I always say my niche is not having one. I do the things that I enjoy, the things that I love, whether that 10 things or 15. As long as you enjoy it and you do it good, be it. So your niche is being creative and having a lot of things that are going right for you and you enjoy the process. Right?
Well, I think that's a lot of wisdom there, the process, because it is the journey. A lot of times, and again, this goes back to ego, but we want to have something we can point to, something we can put on the wall, something we can brag about, something that makes us feel like we've arrived. And the more you live, you realize you're really never there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how high the mountain is you climb. It's all relative to you anyway.
Yeah.
And so enjoy the climb. Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. Yeah. What would you say to your 16 years old self?
Okay.
if you know what you know now, you're going to look at them and say, Tom.
Boy, there's so much. But what I would say is, I think probably the biggest thing would be to be more serious. I think I was very kind of privileged. And I thought I was just going to have a good life and everything was going to be fine. I didn't have to worry. So I didn't have to try that hard or, that sort of thing. So I didn't really work that hard in college. I could pass a test, but I didn't have to really learn all the stuff necessarily. I was sort of into things that weren't on the curriculum, and so that kind of thing. And that pattern, I was diligent up to that point, so it sort of started there. Some of it was because I thought I had it all figured out. I was arrogant.
Yeah.
Be thankful for what you know, and be hungry for that huge amount that dwarfs what you know that you don't know. And that's what I would say, is be confident and humble. Be always realize that no matter what you think, you're pretty much wrong. You got way more to go. It's not complete.
That's amazing.
At the very minimum.
That's amazing. So I think with that, if you give us a quick advice to everyone listening to us, and I assure you this is not the end. We are going to have you, and we're going to have more questions. But what the last advice that you give to everyone out there?
Don't accept a half-life where you're just going to work, getting a paycheck, tolerating people that you really don't respect and don't respect you, being around people in your personal life that don't respect you and you don't respect. You're too important for that. You matter too much. So start there.
Yeah. You matter to us. And I am truly honored that I reached out, and you humbly and grateful for you responding. And this is a start of an amazing relationship, because I can see how amazing you are. And I hope everyone hear you and see you today. Take the information you provided, because this is priceless. And I am truly blessed. And I'm not saying that just in front of you, but I am blessed that I got to know a good soul like you. You have an amazing heart, and I don't see that, privileged person that you talked about, because you worked hard to love everyone and to make everyone feel special, and you truly did make me feel special when we met the first time, and for that I thank you. And for everyone out there, remember to be the change that you want to see in the world.